convincing yourself that some stupid meme on the internet was developed solely to social engineer the idea of how old or how different you would look 10 years apart is probably the stupidest thing that I have seen in the past day on the internet. I'm the Chris who plays games. This is your CPG rant of the evening. So over the past couple days, there's been a meme spreading on Facebook and then on Twitter about showing pictures of yourselves 10 years apart, or your first profile photo and your current profile photo. As far as I can tell, profile photos on Facebook went back to about 2006. So 2006 to 2019, talking about a 10 to 13 year age gap for most people who are on the platform. Some people just use it as 10 years from 2009 to 2019, whatever. So the idea is that you share a picture of yourself then and a picture of yourself now. You can look at how you changed. Some people are embarrassed, some people are excited, some people are whatever. Of course, many of us are embarrassed on the clothes that we wore 10 years ago. Some people expanded this back just to the earliest picture they have of themselves. There's all kinds of variations on this. But in general, two pictures side by side of you at a certain age and now at a later age. And for whatever reason, now, I keep seeing this. So initially I saw this from one person who was like, has anyone thought about the fact that this is just really a scam from the social media companies to train their algorithms in order to understand what you look like 10 years apart, and that like they couldn't do it before and now they can do it? And I was like, oh, come on, seriously? Like, this is dumb. Like, and I just said that. I said, literally, I saw this post and it was like a 500-word post on Facebook that someone had made where they're like, here's why they would do it and here's the motivation and here's the blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I just replied. I said, this is stupid. And then this morning, someone I follow on Twitter is a Google engineer who works on the privacy team and knows a lot and has dealt with a lot of things in the photo space, like in particular. And so he replied and said the same thing. This is stupid. Like, this is a solved problem. There is no difficulty with taking pictures of people, what they looked like before and what they look like now, and solving it. And that's not the only thing that's stupid about this. Like, even if computers hadn't solved this problem and somehow this data would be useful, it's not like Facebook doesn't have your first and your last profile picture. In fact, it's not only not like Facebook doesn't have it, it's not like any number of people can't get it. Like, it would be trivial to scrape these things because most people have profile picture albums that allow them to see all these pictures. This is not a complex set of data to build. If you're an adversary trying to build this data, it's not hard. If you're a company trying to build this data, it's not hard. But even beyond that, even if you didn't realize that, like, if you are a Google Photos user, Google Photos has been doing this for years. Like Google Photos added face detection, like face grouping, to their product like 3, 4, 5 years ago. Like, you go into Google Photos and it produces albums for all the people that you like that it has ever taken pictures of. And I just looked earlier today and like, I've got pictures of my daughter taken when she was 2 years old, and it has grouped all of the photos of her all the way through from when she was 2 years old to when she was 18. Like, it groups them all in because this is not a hard problem for computers to solve. They're good at it. Like, facial detection is one of those things that, yeah, a decade ago people thought it was really amazing that Facebook was doing this, but now it's just a solved problem. Like, this is not difficult. This is not something that companies need to trick you into giving them data for. And so I keep seeing this going by. I saw one last night and I was like, okay, this is dumb. And then I saw one this morning. I was like, okay, this is dumb. And like, immediately before starting my stream, I saw 4 different people posting various takes that were about this. And I was like, oh my God, how does this keep spreading? Why do people not realize that this technology exists? It knows who you are. It does facial identification. Like when you upload a photo, it asks to tag people. How do you think it does that? It does that because like it always sees these things. Yeah, like Google introduced this years ago that it does this. And yes, I will admit that Google Photos does some of it by having more intermediate steps, right? Like, there is certainly some extent to which the fact that Google is able to group my 2-year-old with herself at 18 is because it attaches my 2-year-old to her at 4, to her at 6, to her at 8, to her at whatever. But I have literally like pictures of my uncle, who certainly has changed in the 15 years between the 2 photos that were taken, but one taken in 2004 and one taken in 2018, and those are the only 2 photos that I have of him in Google Photos, and it still does the the exact same thing. I have photos of friends that literally, like, I have 2 photos of them in Google Photos, and they're 10 years apart, and like one of them is in the background of a party and the other one is like not. And like these are things that like Google Photos can just do. Like this is not challenging for the like Google Photos. And so like if I look at pictures, like, so, okay, like here's some pictures of him taken in 2015 and 2014 and 2012 and 2011 and 2009. And like here, it's just like him in the background here, right? Like that's his face there. And like Google Photos just puts all these things together. Now, I will admit that Nick didn't change much except for the little while where he had a mustache, which frankly, probably was not a really good look on him. But there are plenty of examples throughout the photos of my family and friends and other things like that, where I have pictures of people taken years or decades apart. Computers can solve this problem. Hell, computers can't only just solve this problem for people faces, they've solved it for cats. Like literally, all of these images were identified as my cat Tony over the course of 15 years. I've only got 25 pictures of him that I've taken and put in Google Photos, but it's still able to do this transition by tracing my cat from the time he was 4 months old until now when he's like 14 years old. You think that if Google can figure out how to trace my cat over the course of 14 years using 20 pictures that I've taken at like only 7 different occasions, it can't figure out how to identify all of the people based on their faces? Are you shitting me? But then also, like, if these photos are all public, and with Facebook, it started with the picture of you, your earliest profile picture. Facebook knows your earliest profile picture. Like that, you looked it up on Facebook in order to post it on Facebook. How can you think this? For anyone who thinks that this might be some kind of psyop to get access to your earlier photos and later photos to drain a model on aging or whatever, like, no. No for privacy reasons, no for practical reasons, and no because it's just a solved problem that no one needs to steal your data in order to solve anymore. They solved it years ago and you didn't matter. So don't listen to the stupid people on the internet. That's my rule of the day. I'm the Chris who plays games. This is your CPG Rant of the evening.